Most men are prisoners of her beauty, and they don't even know it. They chase her smile, her touch, her gaze, believing they've won her heart.
But her beauty is only the doorway. If you don't step beyond it, you'll always stay on the outside. Here's the truth. If you can learn to see what lies beneath, you'll never be powerless with her again. Her beauty is just the door. Her beauty is the first thing that catches your eye. It's like a spark in the darkness, a light that draws you in with an almost magnetic pull. Her smile can make your heart race faster than any thrill. Her eyes can hold your gaze in a way that feels like time itself is standing still. The softness of her voice, the curve of her lips, the way she laughs, all of it weaves a spell that men have been chasing for centuries. It's no secret that a woman's beauty has power. It's a kind of power that can make even the strongest man forget who he is, abandon his plans, and spend sleepless nights thinking of her. Every man, at some point, has felt that pull. The pull that makes him believe that if he can just make her smile at him, he's won her heart forever. He dreams of being the one she chooses, the one she holds close, the one she sees when she closes her eyes at night. But here's the truth that most men never see. Her beauty is just the beginning. It's not the final destination. It's the door. A door that leads to something deeper, something more real. A door that too many men never even try to open. They stand there, staring at her beauty like it's the prize itself. They memorize the way she tilts her head when she's listening, the way her hair falls across her shoulder, the way her eyes light up when she laughs. They think that by knowing these little details, they understand her. But they're only looking at the surface, the carefully chosen version of herself that she shows to the world. They see the smile, but not the pain that hides behind it. They feel the softness of her touch, but never stop to wonder what's going on in her mind, what dreams she's chasing, or what fears she's fighting. They think that if they can make her laugh or blush, they've won her. But they haven't even started, because beyond her looks, beyond the curve of her lips and the shimmer in her eyes, there's a whole world waiting to be discovered. A world of thoughts, questions, memories, and hopes. A world that she doesn't share with everyone. And the man who never steps through that door will always be a stranger, no matter how many times she smiles at him. Her beauty is like a mask, a shield, and a lure all at once. It's the part of her that the world sees first, the part that people compliment, the part that she's learned to use to her advantage. But it's also the part that hides everything else. It's the part that keeps men occupied so they never think to look deeper. And here's where most men fail, because they fall for the mask. They see her beauty, and they think that's all there is. They become obsessed with the way she looks, with the way she makes them feel in the moment. They chase that feeling, thinking that if they can just keep her smiling, she'll be theirs forever. But smiles fade. Looks change. The sparkle in her eyes can disappear in an instant when life gets hard or when trust is broken. And the man who only knows her smile will find himself lost when that happens. Because he's built his entire connection with her on the surface, on things that are easy to see but impossible to hold on to. A woman's true self isn't found in her looks. It's found in the quiet moments when she lets her guard down, when she talks about her dreams and her fears, when she tells you about the things that keep her up at night, when she shares the parts of herself that she doesn't show to the rest of the world. That's where her real beauty lives. Most men never get there. They're too busy trying to impress her, too busy chasing her approval, too busy making sure she keeps smiling. They never ask the real questions. What makes you feel alive? What are you afraid of? What do you want more than anything else? They never listen deeply enough to hear the truth behind her words. They think that by making her laugh, or by giving her compliments, they're getting closer to her heart. But they're just dancing on the surface, never daring to dive beneath the waves. And when the waves get rough, when life gets messy, they have no anchor, no real connection to hold them steady. If you want to be the man who truly knows her, you have to be brave enough to step through the door. You have to be willing to go beyond the beauty, beyond the smile, beyond the perfect hair and the bright eyes. You have to see the woman behind the mask, the human being with all her scars and dreams and doubts. Because that's where real connection happens. That's where trust is built. That's where she feels seen in a way that no other man has ever made her feel. When you can reach that place, when you can see her for who she truly is and accept every part of her, That's when you become unforgettable. So remember this, her beauty is just the door. It's the invitation, the spark that catches your eye. But the real treasure is inside, hidden in the corners of her mind and the depths of her heart. If you never step through that door, you'll never see her for who she really is. You'll never be the man who truly knows her, be the man who goes deeper, be the man who steps beyond the surface. Because in that hidden room where her true self lives, that's where the real bond is formed. And that's the kind of bond that no smile, no makeup, no perfect body can ever compete with. That's the bond that lasts. That's the bond that makes her yours in a way no other man can claim. That's the bond that makes you unforgettable. The true key is her mind. Her beauty is the spark that catches your attention, but it's her mind that holds the key to her heart. Most men never figure this out. They get so caught up in her looks, the way she moves, the way her eyes shine when she laughs, that they forget there's an entire world hidden beneath that surface. A woman's mind is a labyrinth, a place of secrets, stories, and silent dreams. It's the part of her that holds the most power, because it's where her true self lives. If you want to be more than just another man in her life, you have to learn to unlock that door. Because that's where she hides the parts of herself that no one else sees, the parts that make her feel alive, the parts that make her feel vulnerable, the parts that she's afraid to share with the world. Most men never reach this place. They stay on the outside, too busy admiring her from afar. They watch her smile, hear her laugh, and think they know her, but they only know the parts of her that she chooses to show, the parts that are easy to see. They don't know the thoughts that keep her awake at night, the questions that haunt her, the dreams that make her heart race. And because of that, they never really know her at all. Here's the secret that most men miss. Real connection begins where her beauty ends, at the threshold of her mind. When you step beyond the surface and learn to understand her thoughts, her fears, and her dreams, you become more than just another admirer. You become the man she trusts, the one she feels safe with, the one who makes her feel truly seen. Because every woman, no matter how beautiful or confident she may seem on the outside, carries questions that she's afraid to ask, thoughts that she's afraid to share. She wants to know that the man she's with can handle not just her beauty, but her mind. She wants to know that he can stand in the storm of her emotions without being swept away. And that's where most men fail. They think they can win her heart with compliments, gifts, or grand gestures. They think that if they just say the right words or do the right things, she'll fall for them. But they're playing the wrong game. They're trying to impress her, when what she really wants is to be understood. Understanding a woman's mind isn't about pretending to be a mind reader. It's about being present. It's about listening, truly listening, to the things she says and the things she doesn't say. It's about noticing the way her voice changes when she talks about her dreams. It's about paying attention to the way her eyes shift when she's talking about something that scares her. It's about asking the questions that matter. What drives her? What makes her feel alive? What does she want most in this world? Most men are too busy thinking about themselves to ask those questions. They're too worried about what she thinks of them to wonder what she thinks of herself. And because of that, they miss the key that unlocks her heart. A woman wants a man who sees her, not just the version of herself she shows to the world, but the real her. The one with dreams that might scare her. The one with fears she's never spoken out loud. The one with stories she's afraid to share. When you can be the man who listens to her dreams without judgment, who hears her fears without trying to fix them, who sees her questions and doesn't run away, you become the man who makes her feel safe. And when a woman feels safe with you, she'll open up in ways you've never imagined. She'll show you parts of herself that no one else has ever seen. And that's where the real bond is formed, because when you connect with her mind, you connect with her heart. You become more than just another man who's chasing her beauty. You become the man who sees her soul. That's the kind of connection that lasts. That's the kind of connection that makes her look at you differently. That's the kind of connection that makes her think of you when she's alone at night. When you reach that place, when you've earned her trust and proven that you can handle all of her, not just the pretty parts, you become unforgettable. You become the man who stands out from the crowd, the man she can't help but think about, the man she wants by her side. So here's the truth. If you want to win her heart, you have to be willing to go beyond the surface. You have to be the man who sees her mind, who values her thoughts, who respects her questions, and who honors her dreams. Because at the end of the day, every woman wants to be seen. She wants to be known. She wants to be loved for who she really is, not just for the way she looks. And the man who can do that, the man who can unlock her mind, will be the one who holds her heart forever. So step through the door, ask the questions, listen with your whole heart, and show her that you're not just another man chasing her smile. You're the man who's strong enough to see her mind and love every part of it. That's the kind of man who wins not just her heart, but her trust, her loyalty, and her soul. And that's the kind of man she'll never forget. The power of the masculine mind. If there's one thing that separates a man who leaves a lasting mark on a woman's heart from all the others, it's the power of his mind. Not just his intellect, but his presence, his strength, his clarity, and his unwavering sense of self. A woman might be drawn to a man's looks or his charm at first, but it's the strength of his mind that makes her stay. Most men never realize this. They spend countless hours in the gym building muscles, learning pickup lines, or buying expensive clothes, thinking these things will make them irresistible. But what they don't understand is that the real seduction happens in the mind. A woman's world is full of emotions, waves of feelings that come and go, sometimes crashing down unexpectedly. It's a world where her heart and her thoughts are deeply intertwined. When she looks at a man, she's not just seeing his face or his body. She's reading him, feeling his energy, testing his strength. She wants to know, can he handle me? Can he stand strong when my emotions swirl around him? Can he hold me steady when the world feels chaotic? Most men crumble under that test. They get nervous when she's upset. They get defensive when she questions them. They shrink back when she shows her true emotions. And when that happens, she feels like she can't trust him because he doesn't trust himself. That's why the masculine mind is so powerful. It's the fortress that stands tall when the storms hit. It's the calm center that remains steady even when her emotions are wild. It's the part of a man that shows her, I'm here, I can handle this. I'm not afraid of your feelings, your questions, or your fire. This doesn't mean being cold or distant. It doesn't mean ignoring her or acting like you don't care. It means having the kind of confidence that comes from knowing who you are. It means being able to listen to her fears without trying to fix them right away. It means being able to hold space for her emotions without letting them control you. When a man has trained his mind, when he's taken the time to think deeply, to read, to reflect, to understand his own values and beliefs, he becomes unshakable. He knows where he stands. He knows what matters to him. And because of that, he doesn't get thrown off by her moods or the chaos of life. That's what makes a woman feel safe. Not just physically safe, but emotionally safe. Because when she looks at him and sees that he's solid, that he's grounded, that he knows who he is, she can finally relax. She can open up. She can show him parts of herself that she hides from the world. And that's when real connection happens. A man's mind is also his greatest weapon in seduction. Not in the manipulative sense, but in the sense that his thoughts, his words, his presence can reach places in her heart that no physical touch ever could. When he speaks with intention, when his words have weight, when his voice carries conviction, she listens, because she can feel that he's not just talking to impress her, he's speaking from a place of truth. When he looks into her eyes without fear, when he stands tall even when she challenges him, when he shares his ideas with confidence, not arrogance, he shows her that he's a man who knows who he is, and that makes her respect him. It makes her feel drawn to him in a way that's deeper than any surface-level attraction. A woman doesn't want a man who agrees with everything she says just to keep the peace. She doesn't want a man who bends over backwards to please her every whim. She wants a man who has his own mind, who can stand firm in his beliefs, who can challenge her in a way that makes her grow. Because deep down she's looking for a partner, not a puppet. She wants to know that he can lead, not by dominating her, but by guiding her with his strength. She wants to feel like she can rely on him, not just when things are easy, but when life is hard. She wants to know that he can be her anchor in the storm. And that's what the masculine mind provides. It's the foundation of his character. It's the part of him that's built through experience, through challenges, through the moments when he's had to stand alone and find his own way. It's the part of him that's unshakable, even when the world tries to tear him down. When a man brings that kind of mind into a woman's life, he becomes unforgettable. He's not just another face in the crowd. He's the man who makes her feel safe, who makes her feel challenged, who makes her feel alive. He's the man she thinks about long after he's gone, because he's the man who showed her something real, something she can't find anywhere else. So if you want to win her heart, don't just focus on your looks or your charm. Build your mind. Strengthen your thoughts. Know who you are and what you stand for. Speak with purpose. Listen with intention. Be the man who can stand tall no matter what comes your way. Because in the end, it's not your looks or your smile that will make her stay. It's the strength of your mind, the unshakable presence that tells her she's safe with you, even in the middle of life's chaos. That's the power of the masculine mind. And that's what makes a man unforgettable. Becoming the man she can't forget. Every man wants to be unforgettable to the woman he desires. He wants to be the one she can't stop thinking about when she's alone at night. He wants to be the man whose presence lingers in her mind long after he's gone. But most men never reach that level. They settle for surface-level connections, compliments, smiles, shallow conversation, and wonder why she drifts away. The truth is simple but brutal. Only a man who truly understands himself can become unforgettable to her. You can't fake it. You can't buy it. It's not found in your clothes, your bank account, or even your smile. It's built in the crucible of self-awareness and purpose. To become the man she can't forget, you must first become the man who can't be shaken by the world. You must become the man who is unafraid to look deep into his own heart, who confronts his own fears and weaknesses, because the man who can face himself can face anything, including the deepest parts of her mind. Start with your mind. Every great man is forged in the fires of his own thoughts. Read books that challenge you. Study ideas that make you uncomfortable. Expose yourself to perspectives that test your beliefs. Most men never do this. They settle for easy answers, for borrowed opinions, for the comforting lies that keep them stagnant. But the man who truly knows himself is rare, and that rarity is magnetic. Think about the kind of man you want to be. What are your values? What do you stand for? What kind of life are you building? These questions define your purpose, and purpose is irresistible. A man with purpose walks differently. He speaks with a calm strength. He carries an energy that can't be faked. When he enters a room, people feel it. Women feel it too. They can sense a man who knows where he's going and why. It makes them feel safe, but it also makes them feel excited, because he's not just drifting through life. He's a force. And that's the kind of man she can't forget. Next, learn to listen, not just with your ears, but with your heart. Most men think that listening means waiting for their turn to speak, but real listening means giving her your full presence. It means hearing the words she says and the ones she doesn't. It means feeling the emotions behind her stories, because that's where her real self lives, and that's where most men never go. When you listen to her in this way, you show her that you see her as more than just a pretty face. You show her that you respect her mind, that you value her thoughts, that you want to know the real her. And in that moment, you become different from every other man who's tried to win her over with shallow compliments and empty words. Be the man who stands strong in his own emotions. Most men run from their feelings. They hide behind distractions, work, alcohol, social media, anything to avoid facing what's really inside them. But the man who can face his own fears, his own pain, his own insecurities, that's the man who can handle hers too. A woman wants to feel like she can bring her whole self to you, her dreams, her fears, her laughter, her tears. She wants to know that you won't flinch when she shows you her darkness. She wants to know that you won't crumble when she's at her most vulnerable. And that's where true masculinity lives. It's not about controlling her. It's not about telling her what to do. It's about being the rock she can lean on, the calm in her storm, the man who makes her feel safe without ever taking away her freedom. When you know who you are, when you've built that fortress of strength and purpose within yourself, you become the man who leads by example. You don't have to shout or demand respect. It radiates from you. She can feel it in your words, in your actions, in the way you move through the world. That's why a man with a strong mind and purpose is so attractive, because he's not swayed by every challenge or every test. He's not looking for her to define him. He already knows who he is, and that confidence allows her to relax and trust him. Be the man who challenges her, not by arguing or competing with her, but by inspiring her to think deeper, to grow, to see life from a new perspective. Be the man who shows her new worlds, who asks questions that no one else dares to ask, who stands unafraid of her answers. Because a woman doesn't want a man who worships her beauty. She wants a man who worships her mind. She wants a man who can stand at the door of her deepest fears and say, "I see you, and I'm not leaving." That's the man she can't forget. So build your mind. Know your purpose. Learn to listen. Stand strong in who you are. Be the man who doesn't just admire her smile but reaches for her soul. Because when you become that man, you don't just win her heart. You earn her respect, her trust, and her deepest desire. That's the man she can't forget. And that's the man you were born to be.